Hey guys, a book haul today, something a little different. These are all occult and kind of like that kind of weird, obscure, maybe even conspiratorial related stuff. Presents from friends and family, mostly from my two sisters. And yeah, some maybe beyond the layman. I don't know how hardcore and deep these occult books are, but probably a bit off of the mainstream path, getting a little bit deeper. So yeah, let's go. All right, yeah, I say that, but then I'm sure maybe some deep occultist will stumble on this video and be like, "You neophyte, you don't know anything. My conjuring level is like 9,000 compared to yours." But anyhow, some stuff, even from the old book club. Starting off with the complete Apocrypha. These are books, of course, that were taken out of the collected books of the Bible at the time of the Council of Nicaea. Um, Depending, some people will maybe say there's more like fanfic, and it doesn't belong in the Bible. But you get your weird stuff here. You get Enoch and Jasher, Jubilees, the books of giants and stuff like that. Learn more about like the Nephilim and the Seraphim and all that weird kind of stuff, or realms of heaven being described. And yeah, some wild stuff, man. When they talk about like rather than God even being a singular entity, maybe it's more like a them or the Elohim and stuff like that. I'm not sure. It's some wild stuff maybe. Some interesting stuff. I won't pretend that I've read all of this or all of these by any means. I'll remark more on the ones that I have read, of course. But a thick boy, one that I've always meant to have. Would be nice to get in the hardcover, possibly, but those not quite as available. But still very cool. Here's a really fun one: the Book of Adam and Eve, books one and two. What can we say about this? Some people will say this is like not part of the Bible too. Is it generally believed that this is about the earliest copies of this are about 300 AD? But isn't that the same for most books of the Bible? Um, so where do you draw the line? But this gets to there is some speculation on this that maybe when people think about that the fall of man or whatever is that we were put into material bodies and in this like realm, if you will. This book does have some stuff like that. For instance, Adam and Eve, after they partake of the fruit and are banished out of Eden, this book kind of basically starts at that point. Um, they're like, what the fuck is that? It's burning me, and it's the sun. Or they look at their bodies and like, what is this? I'm like not in touch with God anymore, and they're like, oh, what's this feeling in my stomach? I'm hungry. What? And then at night they're like, what is dark and it's cold? So there is like kind of that of like maybe we were pure light bodies before that and shit. But man, this is like a page turner. You can't put this down. It's so awesome, dude. And they're like, fuck this, I don't want to be here. They'll just like jump off a mountain and stuff because the devil will tell them like, yeah, just go do that, and then you won't have to like be alive anymore in these bodies. And God's just like, nah, not that easy, man. Bring them back to life and make them suffer more. They keep trying to kill themselves at the beginning in different ways. But yeah, it is written in that traditional like ancient holy text. But yeah, a real fun read, man. And who knows what you're gonna think of this, or it's up to I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't know enough about biblical scholarship to say either way what belongs or doesn't belong in that stuff. It kind of depends. To me, it's almost like um, lawyers or philosophy. You can argue either side, possibly, or staunch dogmatists. It's usually people that are like staunch in being like Catholic Protestant or Orthodox or whatever that are gonna think if they belong or not. And those are interesting arguments to listen to, but I just don't fucking know. And I'm not gonna say that like that's the correct stance either. I'm sure there is like a good answer to that if a lot of these books should be seen as like canonical or beyond. I've heard also that the Coptic Bible is maybe the best balance of like apocryphal works mixed with what we know of as like our Western Bible. Okay, but anyway, moving on. Some fantastic reading in apocryphal Bible text. My friend Lee gave me this one. This is a little bit more like, you know, the dark, kind of spooky, scary conspiracy thinking, which I'm not even sure what to think of that. Now, I'm not sure if a lot of that kind of thinking might be almost like a psychological boogeyman to keep you away from, you know, there's often like a mental boogeyman keeping you from digging into things further. And to me, maybe thinking everything is like dark and satanic and having to do with child sacrifice and murder and like like cannibalistic orgies and stuff. Maybe that's all just, I don't know. Is that true in fact, like the case in high up things, or is that almost like a boogeyman to keep people from investigating things further? And I know that's something that maybe like those in the know don't say, but I mean that's kind of where I'm at. You even think like, anyways, there's certain symbols that are boogeymen too. You can't like look into anything. Or else you're gonna be one of them. But yeah, interesting stuff. I don't know how much of this is speculation and maybe jumping to conclusions, but we'll see, man. This guy's supposed to be pretty legit. Espionage, Templars, and Satanism in the Shadows of the Vatican. Who is this again? Sorry, I can't see, but yeah, we'll see about that. Okay, in the roots of Hermeticism, you know, like Crowley and some other stuff, this guy, Hermes Trismegistus, apparently the being that started Hermeticism, and what is he, like even writing in the pyramids or related to Atlantis? I'm sorry, I'm like a fucking idiot. I'm trying to remember stuff that I learned like way back when everybody was freaking out in like 2019 and 2020, you know, stuff that we were looking into back then. And our minds are going crazy. It's hard to crystallize pure good thought. But yeah, the roots of Hermeticism. This guy is these writings by the person who apparently was the Greek god Hermes and also the god of the Egyptians, Thoth or Thoth. His holy sacred writings started Hermeticism, which of course influenced Crowley and even today Theosophy. Depending how you look at it, maybe the ruling classes philosophies, Theosophy being the only religion that has a church in the United Nations, not you know, Judaism or Islam or Christianity or even Unitarianism, but it's actually just Theosophy. So yeah, interesting stuff. Some of the apparent writings of Hermes Trismegistus. And I've only been listening to like audiobooks and stuff mostly. I haven't actually cracked this one yet. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. This is supposed to be, you know, the thing if you want to not have to reincarnate, be trapped in the cycle of reincarnation, if your beliefs sway that way. Who knows? I mean, like when it comes to religious beliefs, maybe they stem from our own deep psychology and stuff. Maybe it is like, yeah, it's almost how we would project onto our parents. Maybe that, like, I don't know, but there are a lot of common factors in a lot of ancient religions, maybe worth looking at or considering. But yeah, if you want to know how not to be trapped to come back here, this is supposedly one of the things you should familiarize yourself with. And of course, Egyptian mythology, very important to initiates of Freemasonry, and thinking about in terms of even J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. The reason he was failing out of school is because he was failing his Egyptian mythology teachings, so maybe that's code for him failing out of his Freemasonic initiation. But I think a lot of these rites apparently are familiarizing yourself with the architecture and ways of behaving in the underworld, or the world of death, is something you're supposed to, like, almost like lucid dreaming, rather than being emotionally drawn and just pulled in different directions. If you can be focused, you're supposed to be able to kind of control the outcome of your afterlife. As far as I understand it or have heard, I might be getting things a bit muddled. I'll just preface everything I say here with that. Okay, The Finding of the Third Eye by Vera Stanley Alter. It's a common mistake. This one is fucking awesome, man. Really fun to read. Is she one of the key figures in early influence on Theosophy as well? I can't remember. 1938. I'm sorry, it's been like some years since I've read this, but a couple times, and there are some great audiobook versions of this. This one is very fun. I mean, like, I'd say like this one and the Kabbalion are like some of the most repeat fun listening to audiobooks on occult philosophy, maybe. And some Manly P. Hall, but sometimes those recordings and his voice is just like not suitable for everybody. But okay, I'll put a link to this one in the description. It's not going to brainwash you or anything, or maybe it will. Maybe there's, what's that shit called? Neurolinguistic programming everywhere, trying to brainwash you and shit. Too fucking bad for you. But yeah, this one's a real fun listen, man. And just even if you're, I mean, like any person who's just like even into astrology or anything would dig this, man. The stuff that she describes in here, even when it comes to astrology or nature and stuff, is so like you listen to it and you're like, holy fuck, yeah, right, you're right, lady, you're right. Okay, moving on. Again, in a similar vein, I believe Alice Bailey, another formative figure in Theosophy. And you know, like, man, that stuff, if you even subscribe to like the Lucis Trust or those UN think tanks and stuff, it does seem like such fucking horror shit, brainwash crap, man. But like, so I don't know. This old like formative stuff though, it's really fun. Okay, but this one, yeah, I haven't familiarized myself too much with this, but I know it's highly recommended. And is there a Josh Reeves reading of this? But it might be behind a paywall. If so, I feel like sorry, this is going back like years, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, brain fart here. I feel like this is recommended by the old book club. It's like some recommended stuff. So, got these next two from my friend Courtney. She gave me these, and I wasn't expecting something like that, but I guess she just came across them. Israel Regardie, I think is he like an expert on Crowley and things related to that? An interview with Israel Regardie, his final thoughts and views. I'm not even like a Crowleyite or anything, but I know he's not a dumb guy. Yeah, interesting. Another this one, a book by Israel Regardie with P.R. Stevenson, The Legend of Aleister Crowley. Look at how he looks like a nice guy. They're like on a Mr. Rogers kind of TV show or something. How can you think that guy is a poop-eating abuser or something, right? Sorry, guys. I'm just, we just say things while we're making these videos. You gotta keep saying stuff. Yeah, so let's see what that is. The Lesser Key of Solomon. The Goetia, the Book of Evil Spirits. This is one that is supposed to be like a classic, right? Solomonic magic being one of the major, most prevalent forms of magic. Is this even like used by Crowley? There is a lot of speculation that this is like just kind of basically based on like fanfic of ancient times, where like this guy just made up all these like symbols to conjure angels and all the various like ancient Babylonian kind of angels and demons. and archangels and powers, demons and angels of nature and directions and all that kind of stuff, right? All these sigils. I think Esoterica channel has a funny, like a good hour-long video, and he's like basically saying the guy in ancient times just made all these up. I mean, these are supposed to be based on King Solomon, uh, who it's like King Solomon supposedly like used all of these, but he was saying that it's just some dude made it up. And then if that's the case, is it the power of human mind that can make these things like work, like either for good or total evil and suffering for people's lives? Ever since then. Anyways, Lesser Key of Solomon, right? Manly P. Hall, The Occult Anatomy of Man. Just a fun one. Yeah, I like the audiobook of this. Well, The New Atlantis by Francis Bacon. And people say Francis Bacon might have been one of the key figures in establishing America, and it was planned all along, and they knew it was here even before Columbus. Shit, they just like gradually let this be done and maybe uncovered that America was Atlantis of old, and that Francis Bacon was the figure that actually translated maybe the King James Bible, created that, and as well as familiar with uncovering weird secrets of math that he encoded into Shakespearean texts, that ratios that like irrational numbers and ratios that are prevalent in nature that weren't discovered until hundreds of years later, but somehow they're in these Shakespearean texts, and like just the way he would like sign pages and stuff, the real Shakespeare being just a construct, and it was actually Francis Bacon. All these weird kinds of kinds of theories on Francis Bacon. Was he like Hellfire Club or something? Maybe I'm getting that all fucked up, but yeah, this is supposed to be like his voyage to the land of the Rosicrucians, the new Atlantis, like talking about America. And yeah, that's the joke, that it is Atlantis, actually just uncovered and rebooted version 2. This should be interesting. I don't want to freak everybody out here, but when you're getting into this stuff, you gotta be a little bit far out. Let your mind be elastic. Just because you can entertain ideas doesn't mean you have to be possessed by them, right? You have to have respect for your own mind here to be able to bounce ideas around. Manly P. Hall, Rosicrucian and Masonic Origins. This is another fun one. I'll give you the spoiler. They're not bad guys to Manly P. Hall, the Rosicrucians and Freemasons. Your mileage may vary. Who knows what to think? But yeah, fun read. Manly P. Hall often is. The Secret Doctrine, H.P. Blavatsky. I haven't cracked this one yet, but yeah, these are all like presents from my sisters and stuff, and just because they see stuff on my wish list and they don't know what to get me and stuff. So, but Isis Unveiled is supposed to be the much easier one to read. Blavatsky, of course, key figure in like Theosophy and stuff. 3 Books of Occult Philosophy by Henry Cornelius Agrippa. Okay, I'll say though, the thing about this is like, this looks like the text, like I remember seeing the reviews. This was like the biggest bang for your buck, the best valued version on there. And the reviews were saying the text is too small. And for me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that. But, honestly, you do have to consider that kind of thing. Sometimes if they even use the wrong like typeface or font, it'll make it that you can't get through a book beyond like page 17, right? So who knows? Give it a try though. Maybe I'll just listen to the audiobook though, man. That's the thing. Like if I'm at work, I can just listen to audiobooks while I do my work. So just mindless physical body stuff is good. Oh man. This is a fun one. Unseen Forces by Manly P. Hall. This is actually also, I think, a chapter section in the Secret Teachings of All Ages, possibly his magnum opus, like his seminal work that kind of can collect. From my experience, probably like that's the book by him. Like his best stuff is all in there, maybe. But this one is having to do with, like angels, demons, uh, dryads, gnomes, the undines, the salamanders, the elementals. And fuck, this is just so fun. I've listened to this chapter or just this little book like so many times. Goes and I mean, like he tries to. Apparently, he says like these are all based on like his all of his scholarship throughout all of like ancient or hidden teachings. So the dweller on the threshold. But yeah, the what is it? The wars between like the gnomes and the elementals or and stuff like that that happen beyond like us what we can see. Really fun stuff. This stuff, man. A real fun one. Maybe I can find a link to this too. I'm not saying like, oh, if you read this, then you'll be cool. Then you'll. This is what you need to be like this. But it's just if you're into this kind of stuff, these are some of the more fun or even I'd say like not too um, either way of like leaning towards or into anything. These are just kind of like fun things to listen to. I mean, if you even like used to listen to Art Bell or that kind of shit, like Unseen Forces or um, you know, how do I explain it? It's just, man, I like this one a lot. Lastly, I was given this, the Hermetic Tarot. What does this say? Based upon the esoteric workings of the Secret Order of the Golden Dawn. Yeah, supposedly one of the best tarots ever for if for any esotericists or occultists or whatever, with a lot of deep symbolism and yeah, the Golden Dawn, of course, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, one of the big movers and shakers or some in occultism. Okay, yeah, a lot of cool presents from the friends and family to rot my brain with, but yeah, a little bit different this video. But there'll be like a couple more of these probably. I have like shelves and shelves of books like this, so I know it's not like for everybody, but yeah, this YouTube channel is just kind of like just showcasing like every kind of cool thing I can talk about, really. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Comment if you want. Try not to flame me or roast me too hard for being a neophyte pleb, but I'm sure I got things wrong. Just please don't spank me too hard, unless you're, yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Peace.